Wins the cup for Melbourne Victory.
It is one of the major pieces of Australian football silverware, and yet tonight the journey must end for one of the Newcastle Jets and Perth Glory. Who will fall at the first hurdle? Who will have an off-season to look forward to continuing to participate in the Australia Cup, the competition formerly known as the FFA Cup? Here come the Perth Glory after a disappointing wooden spoon season at the bottom of the Isuzu UTE A-League Men's. Their youthful squad tonight will be hoping to stay alive in the competition away to Newcastle. Many of these fresh faces receiving a lot of first-team experience in the run-in in the A-League season, and so they will fancy their chances of pulling off what would be considered an upset tonight against a Newcastle Jets team far heavier on experience. They'll be wearing their gold outfit tonight. The question is, who's going to be playing their final game in gold for the Jets as an off-season of upheaval potentially impends upon us? It has been a very wet day in Newcastle. McDonald Jones Stadium looking in pretty good condition though, all things considered given the weather. And as both teams make their way out onto the pitch, it is the pressure of staying alive for one of the major pieces of silverware up for grabs. No one wants to get knocked out at this stage of the season. All right, let's take a look at how the two teams line up, and perhaps the biggest omission is no Arthur Pappas tonight. He misses the game ill. Arthur Diles will coach the team. Vecchio leads the line. Daniel Penha, is this his farewell to the Newcastle Jets? On the bench, the young guns Morogis and Goodwin wait in the wings, along with other attacking weapons like Valentino Yule. And looking at the Perth Glory, perhaps it's telling that the lowest number in the starting 11 is Callum Timmins wearing the number 19, reflective of just how many original first-teamers are no longer in the mix for the Glory at this stage of the season. Good to see Trent Ostler has overcome a shoulder injury that curtailed the end of his A-League Men's campaign, while Josh Rawlins plays a farewell match before he moves to the Netherlands to join FC Utrecht. Tonight's official is Tim Danaskos. His assistants are Ryan Gallagher and Brad Wright. Fourth official is Sam Kelly. And at this stage of the Australia Cup, there is no VAR, so the referee's decision is final. And there is Arthur Diles. He has happy memories of McDonald Jones Stadium. He actually coached the Western Sydney Wanderers to a Y-League Grand Final win at this very venue. He'll be hoping to deputise for Arthur Pappas tonight and steer the Jets through to the next round of the Australia Cup. And there's Ruben Zadkovic. He appeared 97 times for the Newcastle Jets between 2010 and 2014. He's been the interim coach of Perth Glory ever since Richard Garcia was relieved of his duties. So, all in readiness, there is Trent Ostler. Good to see him back in. We got to look at his talent with him scoring his debut A-League Men's goal before his injury. And speaking of goals, Vecchio was a regular supplier of them, the Georgian. And in light rain at kickoff, he will be the one to get us underway here in Newcastle. Who will progress in the Australia Cup? Of course, two A-League teams, their campaigns end this week as we get underway with the whistle of Tim Danaskos. And joining me in the broadcast booth tonight is Daniel McBreen. Daniel, who do you fancy to win and why? How important is it to make sure you don't get knocked out right now?
Well, there's no sugarcoating, is it there, Teo? Good evening. It's a game that no team wants to play in. It's a game that shows that you haven't had the season you were hoping. And both of these teams, particularly Perth Glory, had a nightmare season. All the troubles they've had, change of coaching staff, and Ruben Zadkovic stepping up to take the mantle and bringing a lot of youth players, as we saw in the lineup. No Arthur Pappas on the bench for Newcastle Jets tonight. The Dillis there, but I think Newcastle Jets, when you look at the team sheet, it's way too strong on paper. But we did see relatively youthful Perth Glory knock over Melbourne City when they returned from their ACL, so I wouldn't write them out.
It's probably worth remembering that these two teams did meet in the flurry of catch-up games at the back end of the A-League men's season. There was a 6-1 hammering here in Newcastle, but there was also a 0-0 draw over in Perth, and that 0-0 draw and the points dropped was perhaps one of the results that kept Newcastle out of the top 6 in the final analysis, as we see Jason Hoffman here getting into a wrestle against Aidan Edwards, perhaps the least experienced in terms of game time member of the Perth Glory starting 11 tonight. And then running out of space against the touchline is Sammy Silvera. He doesn't want his season to end, Silvera. He was one of the stronger performers in Newcastle's final games of the home and away.
Well, Newcastle have been very good going forward all season. They've been so hot and cold. And those defensive frailties have really shown throughout the season. Exceeding the same amount of goals as Perth Glory, 43 for the season. Just can't afford to concede that many goals and expect to finish high on the table. This makes the task so much harder.
Here's Angus Thurgate shooting from distance, and a first touch of the ball curving into the gloves of the 40-year-old custodian Liam Reddy, who passed 400 National League appearances during the A-League Men's campaign. And he still looks like he's got years left in him. I know he's a fitness freak, and so he cuts the same figure more or less as he does since he was 30, but I guess the one position that can still have a good season for a wooden spoon team is a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and look, I've known Liam for a long time now, and you say he cuts a lean figure.
As we see on the ball here, Silvera. We'll come back to your thoughts on Liam Reddy in a moment. I'm looking forward to them, though, as the shot on the turn requires a good save. And Liam Reddy sprightly turning it around the post for the first corner of the night.
Well, we were just talking about him, weren't we? And I was about to say that he's probably looked after himself better as his years have gone on, and he needed it there as Silvera moved that ball inside and looked to curl it into that far corner. He got across quickly and got down as the ball skidded off the surface. Good save.
You see there the mud that came up as Reddy leapt for the ball. Here's the resulting corner. A high-end swinger to no one in particular, and it bounces harmlessly through the penalty area. But that little plot of mud in the 6-yard box, I mean, I don't think it'll be a factor as the night goes on, but it has been consistently raining for a lot of the day, and we understand the ground has had to drain a bit. This match actually was 24 hours ago going to be played at an NPL venue, Edgeworth, and has been moved here to McDonald Jones Stadium. Such has been the state of weather in the region. Yeah,
I had to walk on the pitch early on, and it was a little bit wet underfoot, but it was holding the rain quite well as it was constantly drizzling, and probably that goal at Liam Reddy's end was probably the worst of the area. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that affects his goalkeeping.
Solid header by Elsie. Now taking over possession is Chris Donnell. Bursting down the left flank for the Glory. Their first attack of purpose for the night. Donnell's still going. The ball squeeze across the line. The assistant referee's flag stays down, and so Grozos. And now the Jets trying to consolidate. Elsie back to his keeper, Michael Weir. A little bit awkward, but effective in the end. Miklatadze rises to the ball. And now the Jets are away, and a chance to launch an attack. Grozos, look at the body charge coming through, and the referee's whistle sounds here against Jacob Muir for committing that foul.
That was a heavy challenge, wasn't it? Good feet from Grozos. He's moved the ball on quickly, and Muir said, well, you're not going either.
Perhaps making the most of a bit of a tester in the early stages, where the referee's less inclined perhaps to reach for a card. Just a foul, play continues. Silvera got tangled up by Zimmerino, and now the referee's whistle does interrupt Perth Glory once again. Penha chips it over the head of Miklatadze, and Muir on this occasion glances it back to his goalkeeper. 5 minutes gone, Newcastle doing most of the attacking.
Well, I think that's what we'll see for the duration of the match, or the majority of the match, Teo, is that Newcastle will look to consolidate possession, move that ball around. Perth Glory will look to sit in as a tight unit. So many youngsters in this team. It can be a little dangerous at times with so many young players to go and press high. If you don't get the timing right, a team like Newcastle could tear you apart.
Daryl Latchman, the only senior outfielder in the starting 11 for the Glory tonight. Everyone else has the asterisk next to their name, which means that they were born January 1999 or later. So Latchman's by default the father figure of the team tonight.
Well, between Daryl Latchman and Liam Reddy, I think they bring the average age up about 15 years. It's such a young team around them.
And they get set to defend here once again. Dane Ingham is going to concede ground. Long ball looking for Mikkeltadze. Appeared to use his chest rather than his arm, so it is cleared out for a throw. Penha. Now Mikkeltadze. The Jets happy to consolidate and assess how Perth are stacking the midfield and defence. All very compact and close together at the moment. Silvera wants a bit more movement ahead of the ball. And now he'll take on that Perth midfield himself. It comes unstuck, intercepted by Timmins. And the referee is waiting to see if there's an advantage and decides not, and says, we're going to bring it back for a foul.
It's good refereeing there. Just letting the game unfold to see if Morano could make something out of that.
He's got a rare pelt down the back of his neck there, Adam Zimmerino. It's attracted one foul already tonight. However, possession is yielded rather tamely, and so Michael Weir restarts play, moving it to the feet of Yerman and then Elsey. Jets very much favouring the right flank in these early proceedings. Ingham looking to probe. Now Penha switches out into open space. Bit of a miscommunication. Silvera is the man who's called in to come back and reclaim the ball. Ingham once again getting some joy down the right flank. Colley trying to guard him here. Penha will want that left foot. This is shooting range for Daniel Penha. Let's not forget he introduced himself to Australia by scoring a belting goal against Western United in the old FFA Cup, but not able to recreate it here.
Oh, well, he's afforded the space to get the strike away. And as you say, we all know he can fire them from distance. He's got a little under it, just stretching for the ball a little there.
Of course, Australia Cup going on around the country, qualifying rounds. Teams near you, jump on australiacup.com.au, look at the various state federation qualifiers. Know that it's been a busy round 6 down in my home city of Melbourne last night. Cup upsets, teams as low as the 4th tier, still going through to the 7th round. And I tell you what, Banyule City, I'll give them the shout out. They play on a little postage stamp of a ground in the northern suburbs, and wouldn't they be dreaming of an A-League team coming to visit?
Well, that's what the Cup's all about, isn't it? Give these smaller clubs the opportunity to not only come up against, but knock off the bigger teams.
Of course, we saw that so amazingly with Apia Leichhardt of New South Wales NPL knocking out Western Sydney Wanderers late last year. Wanderers falling victim to a non-A-League team for the 2nd time, having been the first ones ever knocked out by Adelaide City right back in the very first edition of the tournament in 2014. As a long ball is attempted here from Brandon Wilson over to the right, and Penha was nearly away. Ingham will follow up. Wilson, and now Thurgate, spins out to the left, and this is a rare foray through this flank for Newcastle in these early exchanges. Grozos. Why do you think they have such a right side of the field bias already through the first 10 minutes, Daniel?
Well, I think you have the player of the quality of this man, Daniel Penha, on out that side. You want to get the ball to him as much as possible. You know he can create so much. Fantastic find this year. Obviously, a number of assists. He would have liked a few more goals to add to his collection, but he has been one of the main players for this Newcastle Jets team this year. Just drifting out onto that right in these early stages. This man as well, Vecchio Mikkeltadze, he's been fantastic.
Thurgate, shot on sight, and it stings the fingertips. Liam Reddy tips it over. He's had a couple of good saves through the first 10.5 minutes, and Thurgate is denied a goal.
Good effort. Thurgate again. This was Vecchio Mikkeltadze who actually just used his body well as the ball came forward. When the ball actually finally came to Thurgate, it was a nice strike.
So 2nd corner of the night coming up for Newcastle then. Penha hooks it in, Reddy with a double-fisted slap away. Thurgate watches it roll out for a throw. Wilson And an awkward pass. Zimmerino nearly onto the ball at the expense of Elsie, but he's able to retrieve. Bouncing ball to Mikkeltadze. On the spin. Directing traffic, looking for a teammate. Penha's the answer and intercepted by Timmins. Timmins looking to break. And the backtracking Jason Hoffman intercepts.
And I think that's what Newcastle Jets will have to be wary of tonight. That quick break from Perth Glory, the youthful exuberance to go forward quickly. We've seen it on a number of occasions this year where teams have broken quickly and gone down the other end. Just when Newcastle Jets had seemingly big control of the game. That's a poor ball forward.
However, Perth are not going to turn and go. They're happy to consolidate in defence themselves rather than break at speed. But a pass like that could be what opens the door to them to strike on the counter.
Yeah, and they've probably done that a couple of occasions this year as well. Just an errant pass. You know, they love to get players forward in high positions. Sometimes those passes that get cut out, you can be caught with players high up the field, which can leave you exposed at times. And on that occasion, luckily for Newcastle, Matt Yerman, Perth Glory decided to kick the ball.
And now right down to the last line. Liam Reddy has to be careful not to get caught in possession by Thurgate. Squeezes it out to Rawlins. The Glory aren't away just yet, though. Newcastle defending from the front. Hoffman helping out Thurgate. And now Hoffman breaks to the line. He's being challenged by Aidan Edwards, but he keeps the ball at his feet. He's unable to skip around Edwards here, though, who defends him well. Sold into trouble by the hot potato 1-2. It's a little bit chaotic from Perth, and they can't clear their lines. Now they can. Zimmerino puts his head down and bullocks onto the ball. He's got one man ahead of play for him and uses Ostler now, and Ostler shows a clean pair of heels to Elsie. Can he cut it back? Zimmerino! And it's turned away. Didn't get a touch on the ball. But that is exactly what you described as Perth's best avenue to goal.
Yeah, you're right, Teo. Good quick run from Zimmerino, and it was Jordan Elsie down this near side. He just sold himself. He slid in. He didn't need to. Probably could have stayed on his feet. Once he went to his feet, to ground, sorry, he gave the onus onto Perth Glory.
Well, we know Trent Ostler has bags of talent, but he's already suffered 2 major knee injuries requiring reconstruction. He scored his maiden goal against MacArthur. Then he suffered an injury to his shoulder, which ended his season. He's teasing us. He's showing us what he's capable of. And really, you just want the best for a young player who's already been through so much.
Yeah, and it also shows great resilience for a young player of that age to go through so many injuries of that calibre as well, to still be out there and playing. It shows great resilience and character.
So the Jets perhaps on notice here as we tick up to 15 minutes. Perth enjoying a little bit more time on the ball, if nothing else. Although that pass from Giordano Colli not his finest.
You can hear Liam Reddy. It's ball speed, ball speed. Don't slow the game down. Move that ball. Make the Newcastle Jets players have to chase you, because almost this whole opening 15 minutes has been Newcastle Jets doing that to them.
Ingham. Down the line, Penha facing the wrong way as far as he's concerned. Ingham tries to back his speed. And now Thurgate, good body positioning, really just protected the ball for Ingham to charge through and continue the attack. Now Hoffman. Can the Jets exploit the space over on the left? Silvera, isolated one-on-one. Now the Perth Glory defence shuffle over to cover. Thurgate, we've seen him shoot from distance once. This time he scoops into the box. Rawlins heads away. Hoffman. Newcastle with numbers forward. Shouts for handball, but it's back at his feet in a jiffy here. Hoffman spins onto his right, crossing to the far post. Who's there for him? Penha cuts it back. Mikkeltadze! And he misses to the near side. However, he does win a corner, and he appears to have received some contact to his shin.
Well, it was good play down this left-hand side from Mason Hoffman. He just glides that ball to the back post. Thought Penha may have just taken the strike on there, but saw his teammate As he got the strike away, Mikkel Tadse, he just copped a knock on the follow through.
Well, it was Giordano Colli who was there blocking, and Mikkel Tadse is back to his feet, but his hand gestures suggest that he's still not best pleased about the way that was refereed. Anyway, there's a ball there to be won. Another high moon ball corner coming down. Elsie with a goal-bound header, but no real power behind it.
It's very difficult to get a good strike on goal as that ball comes in. If you look at the replay here, just here is Penha lays the ball back to Mikkel Tadse. Yeah, there's definite contact there.
Now Perth's turn to attack. Ostler through the right. We've already seen what he can do once, but that's an overhit ball. So I guess, does Mikkel Tadse have claims to a penalty there? So often after a striker makes a shot, a defender can often come through late and clatter, and it's not really looked at because it's not where the focus of the referee goes.
I think when the referees look at it, they think, well, did you get a chance to get a shot away? And that's the ultimate decision. I've thought this for years. A striker can have a strike at goal, and whether he misses a target or not, a defender can come through, clean him up, and no one really says anything. Well, if that happened anywhere else on the field, you might have an argument, but I think they must look, and the referee's decision must be, well, they were able to get a shot away on goal.
Yerman almost caught out by the pressing Zimmerino, but he's quick to turn around and feed the ball back to Michael Weir. Ingham. Now Thurgate. Grozos given space to turn in midfield, however he's caught by the backtracking Timmins. And now out to space. Rawlins can survey his options, doesn't like any of them ahead of the ball. So he goes back to Jacob Muir. And now Latchman, a ball over the top and a cause to go and chase, but Weir is out of his line and is able to collect. I always mention the journey Michael Weir has been on from Queensland NPL down to Victoria for a number of years. Then when COVID hit, back to Queensland, then back to Victoria again. Now at the age of 25, getting his opportunity. I guess it's, again, goalkeepers mature and peak a lot later. So there is that story of persistence in order to make it as a keeper.
Yeah, you have to be very persistent as a keeper. You have to wait your turn. And for mine, Michael Weir has done very well when he's been given his chance. You can see sweeps the line very well. And also, when needed, has made some great saves.
Right now, he's a mere spectator as the Jets go on the attack again. Penha can't complete the 1-2 with Mikkel Tadse. Rawlins is there. Now Zimmerino just braced for contact, and, well, he may be a young player, but he showed the smarts of a veteran there to milk that foul.
Yeah, very good there. The nous to know that the player was just going to come running in behind. Felt the contact, went straight down, and just relieves the pressure for his team there.
Zimmerino, whose local club in Perth was Balcatta before joining the Perth Glory youth team, the one that Ruben Zadkovic has promoted so many players out of. As Reddy tries to thread the eye of the needle with that pass, and Donnell coughs up possession. Thurgate, and deflected out for another corner. And the set pieces will start to add up, even though, looking at the two teams, it appears as though they're reasonably similar in terms of height.
Yeah, and we see the numbers that Perth Glory get back. In general play, they've had about 8 players, sometimes inside that box. And you see everyone back here, led by Darryl Latchman just on the edge of the 6-yard box there.
Penha's delivery. This time it's a whipped corner. It's a dangerous corner, and it's headed out for another corner at the near post. I was about to say that they'd all been rather high, loopy balls, but that one struck with a lot more of a flat trajectory.
Yeah, that's the kind of delivery you want. Low and hard. Allow your attacking players to run at it and use the pace of the ball to guide their header. On that occasion, Elsie.
So with one practice, here's another one, whipping it in again. Good header by Latchman. Knew exactly where the ball was going. Thurgate, though, tries to keep the Jets on the attack. Wilson. Does he drop it back in the box? He decides to shuffle sideways. Ingham. Now Grozos. Hoffman gets in behind, cuts it back. And it's all Glory, cleared away. Jets had plenty of numbers there, and that clearance from Edwards is gifted possession. Now to the Jets. Penha blocked off the boot, out for a throw. It must feel as though the Glory are under siege at present.
Well, they're definitely camped in and around their box, aren't they? Newcastle unrelenting in their pressure.
Yeoman plays it to Hoffman. They've got the ball on a string at the moment, Newcastle. So often during A-League men's season, this is where one bad pass or a slip might open the door for the opponent to counter. So can they keep Perth Glory trapped in the vice that they currently have them held in? Elsie, Mikkel-Tadze, loose touch. Timmins, and the Glory take over. Rawlins. And Rawlins clipped on his foot. Play continues though. Grozos through the left side of the box. Silvera, and he ran out of space. That appeared to go out before he even swung the cross. And well, it's heart and mouth stuff when it's Josh Rawlins who's on the end of contact like that, given his big move is in the offing. Yeah,
well, we spoke about this before we came on air, Teo, that he's moving overseas to a big club. I was a little surprised to see him playing tonight, for the fact you wouldn't want to pick up an injury and maybe scupper that deal. But that was a good opportunity for the Newcastle Jets there. Just that pass, a little sloppy from Costa Grozos.
Well and truly dominant in the territory game at the moment, the Jets, but not exactly bombarding Liam Reddy. He's made 2 saves through 23 minutes of real quality. And Rawlins has shaken off the knock from a moment ago, which is obviously good to see. Latchman. Bursts up to the halfway line, the centre back, but has he bitten off more than he could chew? Mikkel-Tadze, Zimmerino comes back to help out. And that is just sent all the way back into the defensive penalty area, that back pass from Grozos. So no harm done to the Glory. Thurgate. He's allowed to roam into the attacking third here, Angus Thurgate. Mikkel-Tadze, the return ball, and blocked. Rawlins, good positioning to deny Angus Thurgate, just as he was about to pull the trigger.
He did wonderfully well there, Rawlins. Angus Thurgate looked like he'd found the gap between defenders. Unloading a shot.
Moved on quickly through the right, Grozos. From the byline, didn't have anyone in the 6-yard box to cross to, so if anything, he's done well to win yet another corner out of that situation. It's one-way traffic at the moment.
It is, and this is this opportunity for Angus Thurgate. Little 1-2 with Becca Mikkel-Tadze. Just here, it looks like he's about to get a strike away, but Rawlins comes out of nowhere. Nice block.
Penha in swinging corner, unmarked players, goal! Jordan Elsey, the Emu celebration, makes an Australia Cup appearance. And the Newcastle Jets lead 1-0. It has been coming, and they'll feel it's no less than they deserve.
Well, they've definitely had their opportunities from corners. Daniel Penha, a few looped ones early, then a few to the front post, and then one delivered deliciously around the back post, set up wonderfully. And Jordan Elsey and Matt Yerman around the back post, unmarked. And it's Jordan Elsey with a great header back across Liam Reddy. And as you say, Teo, it's been coming. And it was perfectly set up as well, as we say. A couple of corners towards that front post, and then a wicked one straight to the back post. Caught Perth Glory napping.
And you can see a lot of smiles there for the Newcastle team. Jordan Elsey doesn't score too often, but dare I suggest he needs a new goal celebration now. We've seen the Emu twice.
He's used it up.
It's old hat. You need a new animal. Anyway, he'll be thrilled about that. And it'll be relief for Newcastle as well, because we had seen games follow this pattern so often during the season where they would attack, they would excite, but they would also concede needlessly. So at least now they've got a bit of reward for their effort.
Well, yeah, we've seen this during the year, as you say. They've gone ahead, controlled games. Just that concentration lapse at times, so I'm sure Well, it'll be Arthur Dillis tonight. We'll be making sure that they keep their heads switched on and keep playing the football that Arthur Pappas wants them to.
Could this be the Glory's moment to catch them unawares? Not on that occasion as Edwards runs out of space. Here's another look. How do you explain the Glory marking there, leaving 2 players unmarked at the back post?
Yeah, well, I think you've got young players in there. I think it was, as I said, beautifully well set up in the fact that the 2 corners previous to that were low and hard to the front post. A little bit of misdirection, and then the third one whipped to that back post. Great runs from Elsie and Yerman.
Is there a more certain selection for the A-League All-Stars than Daniel Penha? It seems as though his presence, both in open play and set pieces. Oh, as we see him here turn on the swaz once again. Down the right side goes Ingham out for a throw. It seems as though that he's the sort of player we'll relish getting to see against Barcelona.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got to be in the mix. He's been a breath of fresh air, I think, for Newcastle Jets. Always wants the ball, as we see him here coming short to pick it up. Always looking to create. Has such wonderful delivery. As you said earlier, he really announced himself on the scene with that free kick last year, Thunderbolt, and has kicked on from there. Probably just a little bit of discipline let him down, maybe through the year, a couple of red cards. But his footballing has been almost second to none.
Of course, one of those red cards was against Perth Glory over in the West. Served his suspension, got sent off again, served another one. And you certainly don't see him as a violent player. He's not the sort of player that is going to pick up a yellow card on a regular basis. It's just he's happened to have committed 2 fairly easy to adjudicate red card offences through the course of the year.
Yeah. Personally, I thought the first one may have been a little harsh. I don't know if there was any intent in that, but obviously his second one was clear as day, an easy decision. But, we detract away from his football. When we talk about that, he's been wonderful for the Jets and for the A-League.
And of course, that All-Stars game against Barcelona coming up in grand final week. It'll be great for the city of Sydney, given that Wanderers and Sydney FC and the Jets, who we're watching tonight, have all missed out on the top 6. They'll still get a marquee event in grand final week. Here is the aforementioned Penha! Goodness gracious! Daniel Penha has uncorked an Australia Cup special. A thunderbolt to make it 2-0. And the fans that came tonight will be talking about that one for a very long time.
Well, he must have been listening to us, Teo. We were just waxing lyrical about how much quality he's brought to the league. And there was only one thing on his mind here. The Perth Glory defence, they just keep dropping and dropping, and you could see, I'm just shooting. And when he shoots and he gets hold of it, it invariably ends up in the back of the net. There's nothing Liam Reddy can do about that. That is a strike of high quality.
Yeah, real dynamite in the boots there.
That's one you can just sit back and admire, isn't it? You see there, he just has his touch, he looks up, he knows what he wants to do. And gee, he gets hold of it. And you actually see there, it's the movement in the air that gets Liam Reddy. As he went to his right, it moved and swerved back into his left-hand side. A fantastic strike from Daniel Penha. And doesn't he like it?
Yeah, that's a grin. He can afford one. Wow, what a just absolute ripper goal. And so the Australia Cup, it's got one of its signature highlights for the new edition for the year 2022. And it's Daniel Penha once again. And now Perth find themselves in a big hole, and perhaps, unfortunately for them, revisiting when they shipped 6 right here at McDonald Jones Stadium at the back end of the A-League men's season. Again, straight after conceding a goal, perhaps a bit of sprightliness from the resulting kickoff. Let's see if they can move the chains, though. Now that pass goes backwards. There's Donnell, a 1-2 over on the left. And is he able to drive it forward here? Timmins, and he's converged upon by a hungry Newcastle midfield. and they knock the ball away. I suppose one of the issues is that they're not even owning the ball in dangerous territory, Glory, at the moment.
Yeah, and that's always, you know, when you sit back and you have to defend and you don't have much possession, and that's your game plan, is to try and counter-attack. When you go down, all of a sudden, you have to start thinking, well, do we stick to this game plan? And now it's 2 goals. Well, do they start changing it up?
Now a chance to probe down the left side, though. Ford, the shot, and it hits the upright that is supporting the net rather than the post itself. And Joseph Ford, well, he shows what he's capable of there, but doesn't hit the target.
Oh, well, just saying, do they change it up a little bit? And we saw them go a little bit higher with their possession. Michael Weir had it covered all the way.
Hoffman kept it in to the reach of his toe. Edwards gifts it straight to Yerman. Well, Ford is playing left back tonight for the Glory. We'd barely seen him in the attacking half, and so maybe that's indicative of a 2-0 down. They'll give him a bit more licence to take some risks and venture forward. I guess he's defending Ingham and Penha's flank, so he's had his hands full.
It's been a busy night for him so far, but I'm sure if it remains this way, there has to be a point where Ruben Zatkovic says, well, if we really want to go for this game, we're going to have to change it up a little. Ask a little bit more going forward from their team and ask them to keep possession a little bit more.
Grozos able to shuffle the ball on quickly, but Latchman anticipated the pass, and he's trying to set Zimmerino free through the right, but it's been intercepted, and now the Jets can look to work the right side. Thurgate to Ingham. Mikkeltanze and Penha. He's got the ball trapped between his feet. Osler gave him a little bit of a horse collar tackle there, and the referee does signal advantage. No need to blow the whistle, though, as the Jets remain in possession. Wilson. Mikkeltanze knew that contact was coming, tried to skip out of trouble. Wilson helped him out in doing so. Silvera, another tangle of legs. This time the Glory prevail. And snapping away there. Wilson's quick to apologise. However, there's collateral damage in the build-up here. And it's Sammy Silvera who's down.
He doesn't look too well here either. Didn't quite see it was there. I think it was just after that.
Perhaps his right foot just getting trodden on there in that tangle of legs. So we try to unpick his collision. Oh, and then a trailing hand.
Yeah, I think it was a little slap in the face. He might have got a finger in the eye there as he was getting back up. So it's not the initial contact here, but it's when they get back up and go.
Well, someone on the Newcastle bench was watching the big screen. You might have heard coming through the effect microphone there. He's clearly poked him in the face. But, yeah, there you go. I hope it's an accident. Anyway, no VAR. Play continues. Timmins. Gliding a pass out to the right flank for Zimmerino to go and chase. One-on-one against Hoffman. Cutting it in. Colley. Silvera. Sammy Silvera is being chased here. And he's able to skip past the entire Perth midfield, but his pass isn't able to complete what would have been a dashing move as Ford makes the interception. Already missed the ball. Don't horse around too much. He goes and gets it on the line. I guess the Liam Reddy highlight reel has already got some all-time stuff in there. That would have been another one. I'm giving him all the credit here. He knew exactly what he was doing, right? Reassure me here.
Yeah, he was just wasting a bit of time, I think. Just took his eye off the ball at the wrong time.
Perhaps lucky that just a little shower pre-kickoff had doused the field. Ingham. Might have to get the hands ready for some serious goalkeeping again here because Mikkeltanze is bringing the ball down. Thurgate! And he can't hit the target. Did take a deflection, another corner.
It's good play again from Becca Mikultadze. And here's that. Liam ready. Oh, he just took his eye off it at the wrong time.
Oh, he's got a good poker face. He found a way to make that look like it was entirely deliberate, almost like he meant it.
He's got plenty of experience at not showing when he's done something wrong.
There has been just a battery of corners in this first half, and this one is dealt with by Rawlins out of the defensive penalty area, and Giordano Colli is not able to take it and go. Wilson dispossessed him. Silvera, crossfield ball. Penha. We've seen one thunderbolt tonight. This time he's starting to uncork his various fun time potions here as he threads a through ball here. What quality? Grozos, the back heel. Was there a push? Mikultadze bounces up to his feet, and on the turn it is held onto by Reddy. We've seen just a few little back heels and flicks, and now we see Daniel Penha juggling to himself. He's having fun out there.
Yeah, the party tricks have come out already. But I'm sure both Arthurs, Papa's probably watching at home, and Dillis on the sideline will be saying, well, that's fine, but let's make sure we continue to do our job and let's put them to the sword.
In your playing days, who would have been your teammate that if an opponent started doing that, would have gone and just made sure the next time Penha was in possession, he got a rather heavy bump in 50-50?
At the Mariners?
Oh,
every one of them. If you were down 2-0 and someone was starting to showboat, I think everybody on the field would like to let that player know.
I guess that's another thing about Perth being so inexperienced tonight. They don't have maybe a traditional enforcer to stop the muck around. Here's Zimmerino stinging the palms of Michael Weir. First time we've seen him meaningfully called into action.
Yeah, and that's just what I was talking about. It's still only 2-0 and plenty of time left in this game. What Newcastle Jets don't want to do is let Perth Glory back into this game with a goal. Just give them some hope. They want to really continue to twist the knife and kill off any hope they have of coming back.
Still plenty of time before the halftime break as well. And Perth now here trying to break, but the pass is a little overhit. Weir is going to take it back into his penalty area and pick it up.
He's done really well there, Michael Weir, because that line was very high. And the Perth players had broken the offside trap. So good sweeping from Michael Weir.
And maybe just a couple of signs that Perth could yet peg a goal back before the break and just change the tone of the halftime team talk in both rooms. It is, of course, a cup tie where we must have a winner tonight. And the last thing that I think the Glory want, I think either of tomorrow's two teams, Western Sydney Wanderers and Brisbane Roar, want is to really have this hanging over their entire off-season, to know that one of the pieces of silverware you can win, one of the big cup final occasions you can play in, is already off the table.
Yeah, it's in the absence of a relegation, I think this is a good thing. It gives the teams at the bottom something to really strive for, to get away from. And speak to the clubs over the last few weeks of the season, and this was all something that was on their mind. No one wants to play in this game.
I think you look at the mass rotation. Western Sydney Wanderers made 9 changes at the weekend because they very much had their minds on tomorrow night's game against the Brisbane Roar.
Yeah, it's a big thing. A club the size of Western Sydney as well, they'll demand silverware, and they haven't had much luck in these past few years.
I think for teams that don't have a great history in the A-League, of course, Perth Glory haven't won the national competition since it was the NSL. Newcastle haven't won it for more than 10 years now. Western Sydney Wanderers have made grand finals but haven't won one. Brisbane Roar had a golden era, which is now starting to feel like more and more of a distant memory. The Australia Cup's there. You're only 4 good nights or 5 good nights away from lifting that trophy.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably your shortest and most likely for a lot of those teams way to pick up silverware.
And as we saw with the final last year, Melbourne victory against Central Coast, it's a cracking occasion. It is a game you want to play, and tonight may not feel like it is the biggest event, but you cast your mind back to what a sensational final we had between those two teams. We'll revisit that in a moment. Here is Silvera. Newcastle won a third before the break, and that kept rising. Sammy Silvera, who started the night with a shot from that very position, nearly capped the first half with a goal.
He does it so well, doesn't he? Just drives at his defender and just gives a little move to the right, a little dink, a little shimmy. Again, just can't quite find the radar on the strike, but you can see what he's trying to do. Just bend it into that far top corner. If he gets that right, there's nothing the keeper can do about it.
I suppose just to finish that discussion, now that we know what we know about Jason Cummings, imagine how different that old FFA Cup final could have been had he been cleared to play in it.
Yeah, look, it's a cup final. They don't come around very often in people's careers. Some people can go their whole career playing, managing, and never play in a cup final or win a trophy. So, you know, and I also think it's growing year on year. It's becoming more and more prestigious, and that's only going to continue as the years go by. It's something that you can be proud of if you do hold that trophy aloft.
I think it's also that now we've had such a variety of teams in the different states that have made it to the national rounds, that have played against an A-League team. So it's not like there's an established hierarchy of the same NPL clubs or even state league clubs that are getting through and getting those big occasions against a Melbourne Victory or a Sydney FC, and that helps build the lore. Everyone remembers their night when, as we wait here, Grozos on his left foot, straight into the gloves already. They remember the night when an A-League team came to their venue, and even though, you know, a Hume City or a Bentley Greens or a Sydney United 58 may have had more than other teams over the journey, there's still very special occasions for those clubs that get to experience it once.
Well, who could ever forget Darwin turning up in a limousine against Sydney FC? You know, it's something that, like I said, one, to lift the cup, you know, for the teams that actually get there, but for these teams, as you say, NPL, state league teams, lower division teams, the chance to step out on the turf against A-League opposition and see, okay, this is the standard, and can we beat them?
Never mind that. I think one thing everyone's looking forward to is just the return of state versus state, you-know-what measuring between all the NPLs, because we didn't get that last year because of the COVID rules meaning less interstate travel, but I think everyone in the New South Wales NPL wants to take on Victoria again, and Queensland want their say, and Adelaide, South Australia want their say as well, and that's one of the great things about the matches that don't involve A-League teams.
Yeah, it's fantastic all across the board.
As we tick into the last minute of first half regulation here, and Perth, after showing a little bit of feistiness after falling 2-0 down, now Newcastle have got them back in the holding pattern a little bit, and the halftime team talk will be an important one. What are you saying if you're Ruben Zadkovic to your team?
Well, I just wonder if he's going to say, right, we need to have a little bit more of the ball, a little bit more aggression going forward. Newcastle Jets have quite a high line, and you can see that right now. And do they try to play a few more balls in behind in those wide areas? Because Michael Weir is actually sweeping very well centrally. And try and use some of that pace to get in behind. We saw Ford get forward early on one occasion today and get a strike away. So maybe can our fullbacks get a little bit higher and put some pressure on that back line?
One additional minute of stoppage. Not in every game, but I think a general trend of Ruben Zadkovic's time as Perth Glory interim manager has been they've been a better second half team, and he has known how to pick a sub and make a sub. But I look at someone like Giordano Colli tonight, who we've barely seen on the ball. He's been starved of the chance to impact the game. Rather than a sub tonight, is it the halftime team talk to him that maybe gets him a bit more involved in the game or puts him in a position to be a bit more successful in the second half?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I don't think he'll be making rash decisions at halftime for changes. It'll be of players. I think it'll be more changes of the mindset or the style they want to play, just to try and, as you say, get those forward players more involved in the game.
So dying seconds of the half here. Newcastle, can they slingshot end to end here after the 1 minute has expired? They will not. Halftime whistle. And it's been an entertaining first half. Newcastle with a wealth of opportunities. They took two of them. Elsie diving to a header, and then Daniel Penha with an early nominee Very early, of course, given the stage of the tournament. For the goal of the tournament, the Australia Cup is smiling on Newcastle at the moment. At halftime at McDonald Jones Stadium, it's the Newcastle Jets 2, Perth Glory 0. Off to a break, we'll be back for the halftime show on the other side. Let's see if the second half goes in a similar direction. Daniel McBreen, we've talked a lot about what Perth would say during the halftime break. What about Arthur Diles? I mean, it's an audition for him. This is an NYL winning coach, now stepping into the big chair in the absence of the senior coach. How do you think he manages the game going forward from here?
Oh, look, I think he'll be quite happy with the way the team played in the first half. I think when they scored their second goal, you probably saw a little bit of a foot off the pedal, and we saw a little bit of showboating from Daniel Penha. I'm sure he probably just reminded them that this game isn't over yet. They have surrendered leads in the past during this season, so let's just get their mind back onto the job. More of the same what we saw in that first 30, 35 minutes, and this game will be taken out of Perth Glory's reach.
Daryl Latchman, we mentioned that he is the only player born earlier than January 1, 1999 of the outfielders starting for Perth today. And so, as the team dad, he has a lot of responsibility at the centre of defence. And this second half, well, it could be a very testing one if Newcastle do indeed put their foot back on the pedal. Speaking to young Joseph Ford here, we've got one sub, and it's the target man striker Josh Anasmo, who is coming on for Trent Ostler. Ostler, who had one nice moment in the first half, cutting the ball back to the man who's about to take kickoff, Adam Zimmerino. There he is right there, the pelt. And he is going to get the second half underway here as Perth Glory go looking for a goal that can at least plant a seed of doubt in Newcastle minds. They'll be attacking the left of your screens. This is the Australia Cup, of course formerly known as the FFA Cup, and we're back underway at McDonald Jones Stadium, live on 10 Play. And we hope you're enjoying the coverage tonight. Don't forget, it continues tomorrow with Western Sydney Wanderers hosting the Brisbane Roar. And immediately, Joseph Ford, after having that chat back out on the pitch with Daryl Latchman, is hitting a long diagonal ball here over to Josh Rawlins. And Anasmo, the sub, is going to get his first involvement. Controlling the ball and spinning away from Yerman, who's not able to nick it off his toes. Anasmo rolls it back to Rawlins. It's one thing I've noticed, that Perth very happy to move it back to the centre of their defence at times during the first half. Daniel, do you think we see the aggressive pass or forcing the issue a bit more? And if so, who's the player that's actually going to play that pass and take the game on rather than retreat whenever they make a little bit of headway?
Yeah, well, I think it was a little conservative in the first half from Perth. I think they were trying to feel their way through the game. But now, as we said, with the score at 2-0, it really becomes, I guess, the senior player is Latchman being at the back there. When it comes to him and they move it through those centre-back pairing of Latchman and Muir, one of them has to say, well, I have to find a midfielder who can face forward and try and take the strike pairing of the Jets out of the game and have their midfielder being able to then try and get past the Newcastle Jets midfielder. It's just a short pass, but it has to be to a player that can go forward and move that, kick that team going forward. And I don't think they really did that in the first half. It was more side to side. Let's try and get it to the fullbacks. There was no real decisiveness from these two.
Of course, Newcastle had a better than 61% possession in the first half. So often the team with the lower possession is successful in the A-League Men's because they love counter-attacks, they love transition play, but Newcastle perhaps break the mould as the one team that enjoy possessing the ball and have the creative players like Daniel Penha to know what to do. As Ford, with a decent first touch out of the sky, Zimmerino, just like the first half, is able to milk a foul, and this is a mid-range free kick that perhaps Perth can drop into the area. No arguments there in the end, as Penha gives away the foul, and so Giordano Colley will look up, and Perth are committing some numbers up the pitch here. Here's the free kick on the money. It is straight into the breadbasket of Mike Weir.
He hasn't had much time on the ball today, Giordano Colley. He's been working hard to try to, but haven't quite been able to find him.
Silvera. Raking crossfield pass, too much on it. Even Daniel Penha can't chase it down, but he likes the initiative as he applauds Silvera for the ball. Colley here. Zimmerino touches it straight to Thurgate. Grozos. Miklatadze, edge of the box. Silvera on his left side, and that one is up onto the hill and not even close to staying on target.
Well, that's his third strike. He's first with his left tonight, and it's one he'll want to have again. Right under that one. Cameraman zooming in on the goal, but the ball nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one not close. Right idea, execution lacking, however. Silvera continues to threaten. And Asbo trying to protect the ball. Now Aiden Edwards following through. Perth throw.
Well, there's a perfect example for me where Perth could have been a little bit more adventurous. Both Asmo and Zimmerano making runs in behind the defence. Player on the ball had the chance to play forward, but elected not to. And it's just a little too easy for the Jets. Everything's in front of them at the moment. They're not really testing them in behind or through them.
Maybe this is the more proactive play we were hoping for, as it's knocked off the feet of Zimmerino, but following up is Donnell. This time the pass picks out Hoffman. Hoffman under hit, but Rawlins can't control the ball. Thrown back to Woods Yerman, and Asmo caught him late. Matthew Yerman is down hurt. And Asmo gets a yellow card. Was he that late that it merited a ticket? Interesting call here as Yerman's down hurt, and Asmo just shrugs the shoulders and says, what else we can do?
Well, he's shown great energy since coming on the field. Maybe just a little too much there. I must admit, on my first viewing, I thought he got a piece of the ball. I thought it was a fair challenge, but the referee was much closer than us.
Yeoman's back on his feet. Trainer didn't need to be called, so that's good signs for him. As we take another look here.
I think maybe I was wrong there. I'm not sure he did get the ball on second viewing.
Definite yellow, though?
Well, this will tell us here. Well, he does get the ball, doesn't he? He comes through dangerous with studs up. In this day and age, you can't have the studs showing, whether you get the ball or not, if you follow through and collect the player.
Ford's throw. Headed away by Wilson. Now Grozos on the turn. Tried to slide it down the line. Ford once again. Newcastle hunting the ball. Miklatadze just blazed away. Tried to buy a kind deflection, and that's exactly what he got. Silvera out to Hoffman. Hoffman threads it through to Silvera once more, taking on Rawlins. Hoffman. Silvera, and this time they can't execute a 1-2. Well guarded by Rawlins in the end to see it out for a goal kick. Muir, now does he have a channel that he likes? Edwards, Muir, hurried, ball given away.
Well, they actually created a chance to go forward there, Perth, didn't they? It was just a sloppy pass, misdirected.
Rawlins kept his feet. Muir, take two. Again, a pass that sold his teammate into trouble, and the Jets can counter. Penha, we've seen him once tonight, and on his right foot this time. That one is high wide and not so handsome, and well, he speaks a few words of English if the lip reading is anything to go by.
Well, we talked about Perth Glory trying to be a little bit more proactive. I think the pass from Muir there, it should have been missing the first player. I think it was Chris Donnell who was put under pressure. He had Giordano Colli in behind. They need to start missing a few players It's all a little too easy for the Jets. They're pressing hard. They're putting pressure on those high players. I think Perth Glory are really playing into their hands.
Penha through a gate. Grozos, late contact on Timmins, and the referee for the second time in this half is reaching for his pocket, and this is the first Newcastle yellow card as Costa Grozos goes into the book. And no arguments presented.
No, I don't think he can argue that one. Left his feet, was late, just left the legs in.
Latchman, again, trying to force things through the midfield. Edwards out to the right. Rawlins. Back to Muir. Back to where the move started with Daryl Latchman. Looks up at a compact and organised Newcastle midfield, and it's hard to find a gap in there. Timmins just tamely gives up possession, but Ingham volunteered it straight back. Now forward. Can they pick a gap here? The Perth Glory. Zimmerino. And he's not able to find a way through Wilson. Mikkeltadze. Penha to Grozos. Hoffman on his bike. The wheels rolling down the left side, but he just has to decelerate to retrieve that pass. Now Silvera. Thurgate. Advantage given. Ingham almost left the ball behind. And now late contact as Zimmerino knocks over Thurgate. Is there a bit of theatre there from Angus Thurgate?
Look, there was contact, but I think Angus Thurgate definitely made the most of it.
It's almost like Zimmerino entered the hitbox and the animation for fouled player activated. Of course, it's thematic this week with FIFA breaking up with EA Sports in the world of video games. It'll be big news to some. It'll be foreign language to others. Penha. Ingham. Penha once again on that trusty left. Headed away and retrieved initially. Well played by Donnell, and now out through the right goes Edwards. Hayden Edwards trying to emerge from 1-on-2, and he emerges with a foul to his credit.
I think that foul up the pitch was almost in respect to what happened just a little further back. Wilson pulled the shirt.
Thurgate pressing Colley here, steering him backwards. Latchman now, angles being cut off. So has to go all the way back to his keeper. Liam ready, and now Muir. And again, he's trapped as well. The Newcastle press is able to turn possession over. Silvera. Ingham. Now Penha down the right side. Thurgate cuts it back. Daniel Penha. Wilson. And now Yerman. Here goes Hoffman. Live at the feet of Silvera. Elsie now. Long string of passes here for the Jets, but all of it taking place in the midfield third. Just working Perth Glory side to side, chasing shadows at the moment. Silvera, and now it comes unstuck. So not quite passive possession, but not the most purposeful either there, as they weren't able to get a great deal going. Almost at the hour mark now. We've had a couple of substitutions so far in this game, seeing Josh Anasmo come on for the Glory. Newcastle bench, though, the likes of Jordan O'Doherty, Valentino Ewell, Archie Goodwin, Lucas Moragas. Plenty of talent there if they want to hit the switch on some replacements. Right now, though, they're on the attack with the 11 they started the game with, and Grozos can't keep possession in that challenge. Forward, out to Zimmerino. Can he lose Elsie? Can he launch a counter? A bit of shirt grabbing going on. Oh, and Zimmerino's the one who's whistled up for it. And Newcastle will gratefully take the free kick and escape.
I think Jordan Elsie used his experience there to have just enough handful without getting called up.
Now, the referee on the complete opposite angle to us, so definitely had a different viewpoint there. Do you have a sub in mind, Daniel, or are you okay with the game currently on its pattern in the short term?
Well, I'm just looking down at the sideline now, and I can see subs being ready on both benches. It's Valentino Ewell for the Jets. Can't quite make out the subs. Might be Nyonga Berry for Perth Glory. I know this. Just let this go. I know this Newcastle crowd would love to see some more of Archie Goodwin.
Well, you said the subs were almost at the ready. The referee's looked over to his fourth official and no one is standing next to him. So now, running over from the bench, you see Tyler Vecchio there. He comes on for Adam Zimmerino. And also Pacific Nyongabire is going to come into the game. Whose number is up, though? That's the question. And it is Aiden Edwards who is going to come off here. So Nyongabire gets some minutes as well. And Costa Grozos, the only player for Newcastle who has a yellow card to his name, leaves the game, and on comes Valentino Ewell. Is this the last time we'll see him in Newcastle gold? Of course, they've already committed to signing Josh Sotirio and also James McGarry next season from the Wellington Phoenix, the Jets. So a couple of wide players, and well, Ewell is, at his best, has been exhilarating this season, so this is another showcase for him to show us what he can do.
Yeah, I think he's done well, Valentino Ewell. 6 goals again. It's one thing that Arthur Pepper has done is changed those wide positions quite regularly during the season.
Of course, no Savas Sia-Travanis in the matchday squad tonight. Another of the wingers, as there's a challenge here from Wilson, and you heard the cry of pain as contact was made. Referee Tim Danaskos is coming over to survey the scene first rather than reach for his pocket here. Giordano Colley was the man felled.
He did look just a little sheepish there, didn't he, Brandon Wilson, as he went in. I don't think there's anything in it, but just the way he looked at the ref, I thought, is he giving himself away? But free kick's enough.
Yeah, no card. The only reach for the pocket was to get out the little spray can and just mark the necessary yards so that this free kick can be dropped in the box. Score here, and it could still be a twist in the tail tonight for the Glory. Nyongabire, the sub, not able to glance it onto his team's advantage, and the other sub, Ewell, caught in possession here. And now off the bench, here's the chance for Vecchio. He runs to the byline, and there's no cross forthcoming. Timmins bending it in, and high and wide of all his teammates.
Yeah, and in the end, that's a poor cross. Had 3 teammates at the back post. Really only 1 Jets player. Better delivery needed there. Could have been a great opportunity for them to peg one back. As you see, as that ball goes in, it's Jason Hoffman all alone with 3 Perth Glory players.
Ball is flashed all the way back from a back pass to Liam Reddy. So the Glory stretching the field at the moment. Donnell.
I did find it interesting, Teo, on that free kick. Perth Glory didn't send Daryl Latchman up into the box. He stayed back. I would have thought he would have been one of the first guys you'd expect to go forward. Big, strong character, a leader, oldest player out there for them on the field.
I mean, at this point, is being worried about the counter worth it? They're already 2-0 down. They need him to win a header and score a goal. However, Michael Weir showing his keeper-sweeper abilities in the meantime.
He's done that very well tonight. 2 or 3 occasions he snuffed out any Perth Glory attack.
How clever was that pass from Silvera, flicking it into the path of Hoffman, and the cross leaves a bit to be desired. It was a great piece of improvisation there from Sammy Silvera to play Hoffman out into space, though.
And that's probably the difference between the two teams. When they win the ball, nice little flick. They look to go forward quickly, Newcastle, before Perth Glory can get set. When they Perth Glory just a little laboured when they win the ball, allowing the Jets to settle.
Oh, Penha snapping at the heels of Latchman there. That was ready for the chip shot immediately, had that not been blown up for a foul too. So Latchman and Reddy both grateful for the referee's whistle. And Perth quick to advance up the pitch as a result. Look at the body language of Muir there, throwing his arms in frustration. We wondered whether he was the player that wants to play the attacking pass. I think that's our answer right there.
Yeah, but we also saw there how compact Newcastle were. We didn't see forward make any effort to go forward into the space. It's still a little too conservative for my liking. And as you say, Teo, it's 2-0 down now. There's 25 minutes to go. They have to start throwing a little bit of caution to the wind, or the Australian Cup will be over for them before it's really even started.
And Nasmo trying to run from deep here, and it's cleared away by Yeoman in the nick of time. Yule traps the ball, caught by Collie though. Ford, stolen off his toes. And I think, let's not forget, this time last season, imagine, you know, the low that Melbourne Victory were on. Perth Glory, you know, you read the social media, you look at the, you know, some of the podcasters like Neil Sherwin, who, you know, is one of the more prolific figures over there. Ben Smith writing for the West Australian, and you think it's all doom and gloom for now, but look how quickly it can turn around, especially in a salary-capped league. Anyway, we'll come back to that. I might have jinxed them here. Silvera, can Newcastle score a third? Hoffman is happy to retreat back to Wilson. And now Ingham to Yule. But as much as things might be flat now, if they make a few signings, you know, get a bit of buzz back around the team, border situation's okay, and they don't have to worry about homes away from home, and they get a run of games, and all of a sudden the crowds are back, and there's a bit of good feeling around the league. Imagine the sort of the pang of sadness when they get to that Australia Cup midweek, and they've already been knocked out because they didn't go for it here tonight when things were at their lowest.
Yeah, look, I think when Ruben Zadkovic took over, it was more or less the wooden spoon was guaranteed, and I think for him it was a case of, right, let's have a look at which one of these young players we can think about promoting for next year. Let's get them in. Obviously, Fornaroli's missed a big chunk. Andy Keogh's retiring. Daniel Sturridge didn't work out. It's a case of, all right, let's put these guys under the microscope and play, and let's see which ones we can think have the ability to be involved next year. And of course, they're going to go out and get new signings. They need to. We all know that. And they have to be astute with that.
Well, a couple of them already publicised. Stefan Kolikovsky from Melbourne City, and also Patrick Wood from Sydney FC.
And then, again, still 2 young players. Okay, so they're going to have to get some experienced players as well to really be their spine. I'm not sure if Latchman has been announced as being re-signed, or there's rumours that other clubs have been interested in his services as well. So I think really it's been about that for Ruben Zadkovic.
Pressing here, able to win possession back. Is this their avenue back into the cup tie? Collie. Pass deflected away. Mikkel Tadze had to just wait for a looping ball to come under his control, and that allowed the Perth defence to get back in position now. Thurgate. Yule. Elsie, the first goal scorer tonight. to Ingham. Now Wilson. Penha had a quick head check. Jags in. Oh, and he's been collected late by Anasmo, who is on a yellow card, but that was... I know you can still get booked for an accident, but that really was a genuine accident. Gee, it looks a lot worse on the replay than it did look live.
I was more worried about the splits that Daniel Penha nearly had when he fell there.
Would have been a clumsy way to go had Anasmo picked up his second yellow there. Ticking towards the final 20 minutes of regulation. Newcastle with the same scoreline as half-time, looking for the third, looking for the knockout punch. Hoffman takes on Nyongabire. And Nyongabire ultimately concedes a corner. The ball just wouldn't roll kindly for him, and as disappointed as he is, the assistant referee and the central referee are both pointing out wide.
Well, I don't know how we can claim... try and claim that. The ball was on the line and he just kicked it out. Just tried to bluff the referee.
Elsie walks into the penalty area, but he's got a tight marker on him this occasion here in the second half. Ruben Zadkovic watches on from the Perth bench. Is this Newcastle's third and the cup tie more or less in the bag? Silvera marks out his run-up, attacks the near post, tumbles in, and is cleared away comfortably enough. It's a real wrestle and grapple, shirts being pulled. The referee's just decided to call it a break even. And now is the counter on. Here goes Vecchio. Breaks left. It's Tyler Vecchio! Perth are back in the cup tie! Their Australia Cup run is alive, and it's Tyler Vecchio who has breathed life back into the night.
And it's exactly how we said it could happen as well. On the counter, and this time Vecchio, he's positive. He goes forward, he drags the ball past the Jets defender, and as he brings it across onto that left foot, he just guides it past Michael Weir into the far corner, and it is game back on. And it's just the sheer determination and will to go forward, take on his player. And now we see some substitutions, but this game is back on.
And so Newcastle respond. Mohamed Altay comes on here for Brandon Wilson. Lucas Morogas is going to come on as well. And it is Sammy Silvera who is jogging over to the bench. Hard to believe it was his corner that was the start of that counter-attack goal. It's not hard to believe it was a goal from a counter-attack. It's hard to believe that it was Newcastle's corner.
Well, it was a poor corner. We saw Daniel Penha with some great delivery in the first half. It was a real wrestle on the edge of the box, but as we said, that Perth hadn't really been positive in their play. They've slowed the game down. They haven't gone forward, but Tyler Vecchio, when he received that ball, had a lot of work to do. And didn't he do it well? Between himself and Anasmo, since they've come on, they have injected some life into this Perth Glory attack.
And Vecchio, before he joined Perth Glory's NPL team, his home club was Sorrento SC, who themselves had a bit of history in the old FFA Cup, in the Australia Cup. They made it through to the round of 16, where they were knocked out by South Melbourne back in 2017. And that was the year that South Melbourne went all the way to the semi-finals before being knocked out by Sydney FC. So Sorrento SC, they'll be smiling. Their youth product, Tyler Vecchio, showing what he can do on a national stage. And there is plenty of time left in the night now, and perhaps the seeds of doubt have been planted for Newcastle. And Perth, they will be walking on air for the next minute or two. Anasmo, he's mown down from behind and legally there by the sub, Mohamed Altay. And the other sub, Moragas. Can he show the Perth defence a clean pair of heels? Not on this occasion, as he just yields possession to Reddy.
Well, all of a sudden, there's a little bit of a buzz around the ground, isn't there? Newcastle have faltered during the season when they look to be in complete control.
Get ready, Lucas. Again, Danny.
Both coaches remain seated on the bench. No one's really prowled the technical area tonight or got in the ear of the fourth official.
Too much rain. It's just drizzling.
Maybe it's time to get up and get out there and get your voice heard, because as Ruben Zatkovic sits in thought, his team now has a lifeline.
Get ready, Val. Get ready, Val.
There's the voice of Arthur Diles carrying from his seated position on the bench. Timmins.
I'd just like to see Perth Glory in this position play not a straight ball. I was about to say a diagonal ball in behind the Newcastle defence. Vecchio is drifted out on this left side when Muir is driven forward into that space. He just hasn't tested the Jets defence on one occasion. And after what he's just done with the goal, I'll be asking a little bit more questions.
Again, pressing with a bit of intent here. However, Ingham and Penha, well, they almost combined to play through it. Instead, Latchman with a vital intercept. Can they return it with interest here? The goal scorer, Vecchio, immediately into a 1-on-2. Oh, crunching challenge. Altay and Timmins, solid. And the whistle does sound because the free kick appears to be going Perth Glory's way, and Mohamed Altay gets booked.
Well, that certainly took a long time. And Newcastle had the ball going away, so I don't understand why he was waiting to give the foul.
That was one of those 50-50s where they lined each other up and they both went for broke.
You could see it happening, couldn't you? And poof, they've both gone in. Both lunged in there, dangerous.
Can you pick out
I'll tell you
who's
what,
right and who's wrong out of this?
They've both gone in just as bad as each other for mine. But there's a little bit of spice now in the game, with the game being back alive.
Do you book them both and give a drop ball if you're the ref in that? No, dead serious in that situation. I guess they both went in, as you say, very dangerously on each other.
I thought the way they went in, maybe it was just a case of letting the play.
Now the resulting free kick, and definitely some raised voices and raised tensions in the game. And Altay, the sub, immediately into the book, no less. Latchman. Now Rawlins tries to drop it on the boot of Colley, and it slices away. It's eventually out for a goal kick.
I think that's the first time that Rawlins or a Perth Glory player has put a cross in from that area. But this was great play from Tyler Vecchio. Good change of pace, just sucked his defender in, went past at pace, and it was a wonderful finish.
Cool, wasn't it? He just trusted his technique, didn't he? Just a very natural left-footed stroke of the ball past the keeper. On an acute angle. Now forward. And Asmo flags up. Flag is up, and well, that's why he was perhaps able to steal the march there, but it looked like a tight call.
Well, he's the type of player that is going to get caught offside because he's always testing the line, always looking to break in behind. But there's a bit of spark about this game now.
13 minutes of regulation to go. Just a reminder, there must be a winner tonight. If Perth equalise and we finish the 90 minutes 2-2, we will be off to 15 minutes each way, 30 minutes total of extra time. If we can't split them then, penalties. Still plenty needs to happen for that to eventuate. It's interesting that Valentino Yule, he hasn't had a single pass out in front of him to run into space, has he? Every time we've seen him on the ball, it's been in start-stop situations like that last passage there.
He's been very closely marked. As you say, they don't want to give him the opportunity to run forward. Great pace.
Timmins is coming off. We saw him bearing the brunt of that challenge from Mohamed Altay. On comes Aidan Coyne. Of course, the son of former Socceroo Chris Coyne.
One way, Tyler. Beautiful tie. Yes, 40.
Ingham. Now Mohamed Altay. Penha. Can he spark the Jets back to life? Thurgates. Unable to slide it back in return to Penha. Moragas immediately dispossessed by Nyongabire. Whistle goes. Glory free kick.
Josh Rollins was asking, why have you called it back? I had the ball, I was going forward.
So Coyne, first involvement off the bench. Ready, long up the middle. Elsie, solid header. Who's there for the second ball? Altay. Ingham. Being chased. And getting in to win the ball away is Vecchio to Ford. Leaves it with Latchman. As we tick down towards the final 10 minutes of regulation. Cup tie still in the balance. Perth Glory making their move. Colley to Ford. And the referee is not buying as Ford tried to sell the contact from Ingham. Great anticipation from Coyne, exploding onto the ball. Elsie with a vital intercept. Nyongabire. Hoffman got into his back. Free kick.
Well, each and every one of Ruben Zakovic's substitutions has had an impact since coming on. Vecchio and Asmo up front, causing problems. Saw Coyne there step in, win that ball with energy. And this man, Nyongabire, we know he's capable of unlocking a defence as well. So it could be an uncomfortable final 10 minutes for Jets.
Line of players across the top of the penalty area. Giordano Colley on duty, drops it at the penalty spot. Skims off heads, Coyne, and that is a corner. Not very forcefully hit, but still had enough to catch Dane Ingham on the way out.
I think he got a little lucky there, didn't he? He mishit it. Just lucky enough that it bounced up and hit Dane Ingham on the head.
And the level of chat in the defensive penalty area for the Jets, you can hear it. Raised voices as they try to see off Giordano Colley once again. Right into the mixer it goes. Weir away. Ford. It's on his non-preferred right side here. Once that left foot has to go backwards. Muir lost possession. Moragas. Crunching slide challenge comes in. And eventually the whistle goes. And the yellow card is brandished. As Jacob Muir retreats back to the centre of defence.
I don't think he can have any complaints about that. Stopped the play, came in late.
Yule. Moragas didn't fancy the cross from deep. Miklatadze a lone hand in the penalty area. Altay drops the shoulder. Collapses to the ground. It's a free kick just outside the penalty area.
It's good play from Altay there. Here's the first challenge on Moragas. Stopping the play. This play from Mo Altay, driving into the heart of the defence, bringing the foul.
It was the goal scorer Vecchio who gave it away, so a well-struck free kick here to restore the two-goal buffer, and that might be Newcastle through and the best of Perth seen off. Becca Miklatadze has been stuffed of chances in the second half, and so he's jumped up at the opportunity to take this free kick here, slides it to Penha, straight into traffic and blocked by Coyne. Vecchio on the turn, and Nasmo, clash of bodies, and he wins a foul from Angus Thurgate. Angus Thurgate says, I won the ball. Referee disagrees.
I think Anasmo just got his body across Angus Thurgate just at the last second there. There feels to be a little bit more urgency now from both teams.
Time Perth's enemy. Forward. In a tangle with Yule, who from ground level is able to stop his progress, but not dispossess him completely. Muir directing traffic. Now Coyne. Latchman. He's wrapped up and caught in possession by Penha. Now he's backtracking in desperation here. Oh, and he's gone and tapped the ankles of Daniel Penha, and that is a cynical foul from Daryl Latchman, and he gets a yellow card.
Yeah, he knew he made the mistake there. Just dwelled on the ball. Tried the little dummy and the shimmy, didn't work. And you've got Daniel Penha on the break. Thought the best thing to do here was bring him down before he can cause any havoc.
So the yellow cards have started to flow with some regularity in the second half. Newcastle take the free kick. Ingham. Now Penha. Fouled again. Free kick. Daniel Penha perhaps pleading for a bit more protection. So every time the ball stops now, Newcastle going into time-wasting protocols here, you suspect. What minute do they start taking it down to the corner? That's the question. Maybe still a little bit early for now. 5 minutes of regulation to go. A third goal makes it a moot point. Penha hangs it high, and a defensive header was very necessary there from Aidan Coyne, putting it behind for a corner.
That was a wonderful ball from Penha. Just got a lovely bend on it. Arc. Just coming into that real danger area. It's hard for the keeper to come out. Just outside the 6-yard box. A couple of willing runners as well. It was a good defensive header, needed to be made.
Penha to take the corner then. Attacks the near post, half volleyed high by Rawlins. And with a looping bounce, Nyongabire rose above Moragas. LC. Penha still looming large. Now he takes it down to the corner. Here we go. So 87th minute. Grabbing, grappling, Valentino Yule. Into attack he goes, and he rattles the side netting. And with a deflection, it's another corner. They went from time wasting to attack in the blink of an eye.
Well, Daniel Penha wanted to waste it, didn't he? Hold that ball in the corner. Valentino Yule says, no, I want a goal. I want to seal this game.
So will it be shenanigans, or will it be hit into the box? It is the former. And Mikkel Tadze is down there, and the assistant referee's flagging for a foul immediately. Colley just went through and shoved him over. And the look on his face sums it up. You see the Brazilian flags, and one of them with Daniel Penha's face on them in the background. Now booted into Nyongabire, and for another throw. This has been able to wind a bit more than a minute off the clock. Newcastle fans will enjoy every second of it. Perth fans will be cursing at their televisions and devices. Here's the throw, out into open space, breathing room perhaps for Perth Glory to launch a counter-attack, but they need to win the ball first. Altay back out to Penha on the sidelines. Bends it towards Thurgate, and a goal kick is exactly what the Glory need. Liam Reddy looks up the pitch with just 2 minutes of regulation to go. Coyne. Muir to Rawlins. Donnell. And Nyongabire coughs up the ball. Gaps exposed. Mikkeltadze. Oh, and he's played it behind Penha.
Perth Glory again playing into the Jets' hands. Jets are pressing high. Short ball. You really need to try and bypass the press.
No more.
Try and utilise the two strikers that have come on in Asmo and Vecchio, who are willing runners going forward.
Moragas set himself, won the 50-50 against Rawlins, and now the ball's back at his feet. Last minute of regulation then. Newcastle have just starved Perth of any meaningful possession or territory as soon as they applied the handbrake, really. Once they've decided that time wasting rather than going for a third is a go, Perth are just barely spending any time on the ball. Can they win it back? Can they create one more opportunity to grab an equaliser at the end of the night? They'll have to start right from the very back. Ready to Rawlins. Now Muir. The Jets press still creating headaches for Perth.
Well, further up the field, it's five.
This is signature Liam Reddy, and he's able to break the shackles. Rawlins, long ball. Now Weir's out of his line, and he's able to clasp his hands around it in legal territory.
Well, I was just about to say that Perth Glory have just committed 5 players forward. They're still persisting on trying to play through.
3 minutes of additional time to end the night. Valentino Yule cuts in Yule. Now back onto his right foot. And eventually nudged off the ball. Colley from down in the corner. And he's blocked by Penha. Goal kick taken quickly. Moragas is hunting the ball, but Rawlins gets there first. Now Nyongabire. There are players hanging off the last man here, but a long ball like that's not going to pick out any of them.
It's a shame. Perth Glory looking to get more players forward. Latchman has moved into midfield since Coyne came on the field. He's just moving higher and higher as time ticks away. They just can't get that ball up there.
Ruben Zadkovic, not just on his feet, he's actually got his left foot out on the field of play at the moment. So after being seated in the dugout for most of the night, he's trying to get as close to the action as he can, as Newcastle will make a time-wasting sub here. Daniel Penha will come off, and the young local product, Archie Goodwin, will come on. A player who has certainly whet the appetite at the end of 2 seasons in a row for what's to come, and hopefully he just has a great off-season getting his body ready in order to take the league by storm next campaign. Stoppage time is more or less up. Arthur Dillez high five with Daniel Penha. And Perth Glory all on the generosity of the referee from here, as Mikkeltadze takes it down to the corner. Altay diffuses any hope of a counter-attack. Thurgate back towards the corner he goes. And now he veers into the penalty area. Thurgate, Goodwin! This kid has the magic touch. Newcastle will advance in the Australia Cup, and Archie Goodwin, on the field for mere seconds, has found the back of the net. And Michael Weir, the goalkeeper, has run the full length of the field to celebrate with him.
Well, he's a Newcastle local. He's a young man with plenty of talent. The Newcastle fans have been baying for more Archie Goodwin, and that's what he can do. Thrown on in the 93rd minute with only 3 minutes of injury time allotted, and with his first touch, he tucks one away. Fantastic from the young man.
No.
And hopefully we see a lot more of him in the future. He certainly has the talent.
The cynics might say a substitution like that is the human victory cigar. Well, Archie Goodwin gets to smoke them tonight.
It's great to see. Such a great young man as well.
And Perth Glory, after entertaining us right to the death, will fall out of the Australia Cup in 2022. And Newcastle Jets will advance, and the home fans will leave happy. It's high fives and low fives on the bench. And Newcastle, who fell at the first hurdle in the Australia Cup last season, are able to clear that hurdle here tonight at the expense of Perth Glory. Archie Goodwin's all smiles, picks up a goal bonus for a very short night's work, and that was after earlier goals from Elsie and Penha. Tyler Vecchio made it interesting at the close, but the full-time score at McDonald Jones Stadium is Newcastle Jets 3, Perth Glory 1. Danny McBreen, better team won, but not without making hard work of it.
Well, we've seen it from Newcastle Jets so often this season. They've dominated games, they've created more chances, they've really given the opposition no chance. But again tonight, when they were cruising and looked like they were going to run away with the game, they allowed Perth Glory back into the game with a wonderful goal from Tyler Vecchio. But as the game wore on, Archie Goodwin, the young Newcastle man, sealed the deal with only seconds to remain. But it was a dominant performance all over by the Jets, and it was always going to be an uphill battle with the young team that Perth Glory had put out. They could be happy with the way that they've performed, but unfortunately for them, the Australia Cup run is over.
There's two of the goal scorers. All right, let's go down to the aftermath. Jason Hoffman has joined Jordan Warren.
Thanks, Teo. Yeah, Jason Hoffman with me. Jason, ultimately at the end of the day, a professional performance and through to the round of 32.
Yeah, look, obviously we wanted to end the season, with some positivity around the club, and that was an extremely important match for us to obviously reward ourselves for what's been a very long season, and we obviously take that bit of positivity now going into the Australia Cup for next season. So plenty to look forward to hopefully for the year to come.
And how crucial was it to get that win tonight? Obviously last year didn't make the Cup, so it was important to get back into the competition this season.
Yeah, look, we spoke about that for a lot of the positivity around the club and how we played this year. It started really on a bad note, which was losing this match to Western United away. So tonight was important just to make sure that we could go one better already. So very professional performance, I thought. But yeah, obviously hopefully we can build on this and go into next season.
A few great performances from a few of the players tonight, in particular Daniel Penha. Just how good was he tonight?
Yeah, excellent. I mean, he's been a standout for us all year, so hopefully we can do our best to try and keep him and build on this season, where certainly he's been one of the shining lights for us. And I've been saying that a lot of boys have put in huge minutes this season and played extremely well. So